Go. What's up, everybody? World, universe, past, present, and future viewers. What's up? Yeah, it's March 2nd, about 2 days into the war in Iran. Got a little bit of news. We had a little incident happen yesterday in Austin, Texas. Possible link to terrorism. It's already happening. Who knows how many splinter cells are here in the U.S. waiting to activate? Not just from Iran, but also, their allies. What up, Ronnie? Brother? Yeah. So, March 1st, this was yesterday in Austin, Texas. It says a man suspected of fatally shooting at least 2 people and injuring 14 others at a bar had a history of mental health issues. What up, Steph? Officials said why the FBI are looking into a possible terrorism link. The gunman was killed in an exchange of fire of law enforcement officers at the scene, police said. 3 people remain in critical condition, the police also said. Law enforcement officials said the suspect had a history of mental health conditions, according to an internal update from the National Counterterrorism Center reviewed by Reuters. A law enforcement official told Reuters that the shooter wore a shirt with an Iranian flag and Iran spelled out in green, white, and red across the front. He was also wearing a sweatshirt that said "Property of Allah" on it. The official said. Authorities are investigating whether the suspect was motivated by the joint U.S.-Israel strike in Iran. The officials told Reuters the shooter is identified as Indiayaga Dayaginia. I butchered that pronunciation, but he was a immigrant from the nation of Senegal, which happens to be a predominantly Islamic nation in GTA 6. That has nothing to do with the terroristic attacks and stuff. That sounds like they're framing this more as mental health conditions, but who knows? Who knows? It could be deeper than that. It seems to me, that definitely seems like a crazy ass, like semi mentally impaired person for sure. It's crazy the amount of people that are genuinely upset that Kamani was unalived recently is crazy. People protesting against, it's the same people that's protesting against Maduro being captured. When they don't, like, these people, the same people, they hate Nazis, right? They think they say, oh, all Nazis need to die. Oh, yeah, yeah. This is what they say. But whenever someone who is in modern times truly like what the Nazi ideology was, which is what the Islamic Republic of Iran ran as, was complete and total control of all of its people from when they were born to the day they died. That is a real fucking Nazi. But yet these people will not, they don't see it as that. They do not see that as that. They see, oh, this is an oppressed fucking Muslim person, for lack of a better term, and they look at the Islamic stuff as if that's a whole race. And you know how they look at racism and shit with these dumbasses. So you can't like critically judge any of these people because you could be racist. So law enforcement agencies have not publicly released the name of the shooter, identified the specific motive. I guess that the news agency were able to find out the guy's name. The FBI's Joint Terrorism Task Force is working with the Austin Police Department on investigation, which includes staff from federal agencies, evidence response, and digital forensic teams. Duran, who is the Austin Police Department investigator in charge, I suppose, said at Sunday's press conference, President Trump has been briefed on the shooting. White House Press Secretary Carolina Leavitt said in a post on social media on Sunday, the mass shooting happened outside of Buford's, a popular bar in West 6th Street stretch of Austin. Anybody out there in Austin know about this place? Austin Police Chief Lisa Davis told reporters the shooter drove an SUV multiple times around the block where the bar is located. So you gotta think this dude, he was probably nervous as hell driving around that block. Whatever kind of psych meds he was on, probably pushed him to the limit. See, these people, their hate of Trump, their hate of anything. He could have cured cancer and AIDS. You'd think that they'd be happy with him curing AIDS since it seems to affect their population so much. But they would still be like, oh no, I don't want that cure, dude. And so it doesn't sound like to me like this does sound more like a crazy ass bastard versus a terroristic plot. But you never know. Our own government in GTA 6 uses crazy people for MK Ultra, Manchurian Candidate type of shit too. So who's to say that these other countries haven't learned like our way of subterfuge, right? Who would say that they haven't learned our way of subterfuge of being able to find a like a crazy person, like just a mentally insane crazy person, and they exist all over the place. But that's the perfect candidate that you'd use to go out and commit all these crazy ass atrocities. Who's in the way the way that this world is connected, our methods are so intertwined because of the ritual. Um, I'm going off on crazy tangents. That sounds epic. It does sound kind of plagiarized as well from other holy books, but yeah. So it's not the people with anywhere. It's not their religion. It's not their people. It's their leadership. Um, this is like 1,400 years ago. 1,400 years ago, whenever the prophet came to power and started conquering the Arabian Peninsula. After his death, they split up all that territory and they went out conquering. And then these people, who they're Muhammad's close friends, the people that he sent out conquering. Don't be spamming the chat, buddy. And then they split up all of the territory, and they believed that they had a divine mandate. The Muslims believe that they have a divine right to spread Islam through the globe, right? Based on these very ancient bloodlines that they still follow, and that's what. And the Sunni and Shia. That's why there's a difference between Sunni and Shia, is because it was an argument over who would inherit the. They don't have priests; they have umans, I guess. No, Triple KS, you can't have no mod. Fuck you, you can't have no mod, buddy. The hell you talking about? I just met you. It's the wrong question to ask somebody you just met, buddy. Thank you, Steph. Yeah. If you're gonna spam, I would say you need to find something different to spam. Spam something twice, then move on to something else. Let me see what else we got going on. Yeah, this guy. It said the U.S. had 407 mass pew pews last year. What up, Solitarians? What up? Going over this crazy world. And I will tell you guys this. It is a good thing. What up, Yard Dog? It is a good thing that we ousted the Iranian leadership. Hell yeah, I got one. Hell yeah, what kind of. I wouldn't be no guy. I wouldn't be no fucking. If I didn't have some kind of woman in my life, I don't know what I'd think. But the way that we ousted the Iranian leadership, it's like we want it's I'm America first, and most of us I feel like are. What up, JoJo? Thank you, House of Pain. And I feel like most of us are, but I don't know. They're trying to push the weapons of mass destruction angle. They're trying to push the weapons of mass destruction angle. They're trying to act like like, oh, that what was it that Marco Rubio said 3 weeks ago? He said Iran is in the middle of developing long range ballistic nuclear weapons that could hit the United States, and that is fucking bullshit. if anybody believes that Iran is truly a threat to the U.S. and truly was going to plan to launch nuclear weapons at the U.S., they got to look into it deeper. They got to look into it more than that. That's all I got. I know that they were a threat, and I know that they possibly, who's to say? And I am American first, and I am proud American. I do believe it is our manifest destiny to conquer this world. If it would be a better, the new world order would be. If we do have a new world order, it would be best if it was headed by the United States, and we just brought our democracy to every country and put a McDonald's inside of every country as well. Yeah, but that's the whole plan, though. That's the whole plan. This is my theory, y'all. Now we're about to get into deep schizo level of theories for sure, but this is my theory. It all ties into Blue Beam. So, got all this crazy war, all this crazy ass war. Nobody wants to date you. Get the fuck out. This ain't no damn dating site. You probably some weird gay underage motherfucker. Who knows? Get the fuck out. So, this is how it's going to go down. This war, it could pop off at any moment. It could pop off at any moment, right? What up, Sophia? Thank you. We'll touch that. We'll touch on Bill Clinton and Iran's connection here in a minute. But I feel like, so when World War II ended, is probably whenever they started setting all this up. They knew that given the Jewish people their own country, which they needed because they were being treated like very shitty throughout the world for a long time, because people like to place blame on minority groups, it seems like, for their problems, whenever in reality it's their government causing all these fucking problems. But yeah, it's gonna right now. This is how the war is right now. We have all these airstrikes. We're launching little missiles back and forth on each other. We had we had 3 of our boys die yesterday. Rest in peace. But the government, this government is willing to kill its own people in order to. What up, Silverback? This government is willing to kill its own people in order to find an ends to the means for their goals. All right, the same thing. It could be said in GTA 6 for 9/11. That could have. Some people might say that was a mass sacrifice event. Some people say that they knew that the terrorists were going to do it, and they knew that that would help them be able to start a reason to go to war. What did we hear back then during this time? What did Colin Powell say? That Iraq had yellow cake uranium is what they called it, and they were enriching it, and they were planning on doing what? Developing missiles with capability to reach the United States. They're saying that back then, and now they're saying it today about Iran. Iran is some pussies, I know, but I'm just saying this. We gotta look deeper into our own shit. Yeah, so it starts off the little strikes, little airstrikes, little missiles being launched. China and Russia, they seem very quiet right now. What we've always been told that if we went to a war with Iran, what have we always been told as well? That Russia and China would come to their aid. So, and that's it's only been it's only been about 2 days since all this went down. So we're still in the first stages of missiles being thrown and airstrikes happening. But the next step after that would be troops on the ground. So United States and Israel puts troops on the ground in order to maintain the recently acquired territory, for lack of a better term. Because Persia is being conquered right now and split up. Trump says that they have the chance to have their own country back and have their own thing, but we'll see. We'll see how that goes. We'll see if they have their own country. We'll see if Israel owns them. Yeah, see, that's what it is. We're not officially at what. Yeah, we're at the first stage of before. If troops. So Israel, I believe, they're going to be putting troops on the ground over there. With what? What did America do during Vietnam whenever it first started? Put advisors there. They had little advisors there advising the Vietnamese, the South Vietnamese. All right, and then eventually some shit happened there. A Gulf of Tonkin incident. Was Jim Morrison's dad, by the way, was the high Navy admiral of the Pacific Fleet at that time. Gulf of Tonkin, a boat went in North Vietnam, a little merchant marine vessel, blown up. All the crew died. Next thing you know, we're going to war at Vietnam the next day. I'm just saying that could be the same fucking blueprint for what's going on right now. So we're still in the beginning phases. Let me go back. What are my credentials for talking about international politics? Because first of all, I live on the earth. Second of all, I'm a human being. Third of all, I live in the greatest fucking country on earth that could easily kick wherever you're from's ass. So that's my credentials for talking about. That's not what happened in the Gulf of Tonkin. What the fuck happened in the Gulf of Tonkin, stupid motherfucker? Then tell me. If I did not just fucking say exactly what the fuck happened, you stupid cocksucker. That's not what happened in the Gulf of Tonkin. Let's look it up now. What up, Mother Freedom? Unc James, good to see you. Yeah, but Gulf of Tonkin, exact false flag attack, brother. False flag attack. Oh, it's just because you're retired or whatever the fuck that means you're the only person that's allowed to talk about politics and it. So, yeah. I guess that only retired military people and fucking people who consider themselves fucking men are allowed to talk about shit, right? Shut the fuck up. You'd be a damn boot stomping ass motherfucker. Stupid ass motherfuckers like you retired saying all this shit. Y'all wouldn't fight against the system. Y'all would fucking join it. Y'all would put your boot down on the citizen's head. Fuck you. Talking about can't talk about politics. Talk about whatever the fuck I want because you and you dumbasses haven't taken my freedom yet. What up, Patricia? Good to see you. Yeah. You ain't no retired shit. You got a damn fucking. You got a fucking. A DJ thumbnail. I got a fucking photo of you doing DJ shit. Yeah. Exactly. If I live here, I'm breathing the air. Look. Everybody take a second to breathe in some air. Oh my god, did we all just do the same fucking thing the exact same way? Are we? Oh my god, everybody grab your flesh. Some of you might have more fat ass arms than me, like fucking that one dude does, most likely. Thank you, Patricia. It's just natural too. You know, I don't work on this. You know, I wake up like this and I say, I'm mogging as soon as I wake up. Yeah. That's one, you know, that goes into like the training or whatever. But yeah, there ain't nobody better than nobody. You are not better than me. Only ask because I think, well, shit like that. I'm not gonna lie, thank you for all the hundreds, Sophia. Shit like that does kind of grind my gears a little bit. Okay, let's read this. The Gulf of Tonkin incident. The Gulf of Tonkin incident, also known as the Gulf of Tonkin incident, refers to a naval confrontation in the Gulf of Tonkin off the coast of North Vietnam, which led the United States engaging more directly in the Vietnam War. On August 2nd, 1964, the USS Maddox, a U.S. Navy destroyer, engaged in an intelligence gathering mission. So they're spying, do a little spying, little shit. Thank you, Patricia. Druggies get upset. Easy. Yeah, dude, I'm drugged up right now. What's up? I'm drugged up right now. You hurt my fucking feelings. Navy, an intelligence gathering mission was attacked by North Vietnamese torpedo boats. The incident was described to Congress as two unprovoked attacks by North Vietnamese torpedo boats on the U.S. destroyers Maddox and Turner Joy. This event was a pivotal moment in the U.S. involvement in Vietnam, leading to the Gulf of Tonkin Resolution, which allowed President Lyndon B. Johnson to escalate U.S. military involvement in the war. The incident has been a subject of controversy and debate, with many historians and policymakers questioning the accuracy of the report and the role of American intelligence in justifying the escalation of military action. No, let him do it. He ain't, no, let him do it. Let him go. Let him go. Let him stay, Sophia. As long as they don't say anything too gay or anything that's too like, they can insult me, but they can't say nothing too gay. Exactly, Uncle. Exactly, Unc. Yeah, like these fucking. What makes some? I don't know. Some people. If there, it is true that there are people out there. Oh, you right? Yeah, yeah. I forgot. There are people out there like you can have actual evidence. You can show them shit that is actual physical proof of something, and they will still not believe it. They will refuse to want to believe it. They will refuse to want to believe it. Thank you, Uncle Jams. Yeah, you can tell people, so you can show them physical proof. You can show them somebody like this is actual real. You can show them it, and they will not. They will still believe what they believe. Some people are that fucking retarded that they can see physical evidence of something, but they are so hard headed they will not believe the truth. So back to the plan. So they're slow conventional warfare. Israel will have boots on the ground. Um, they're gonna be a mini guerrilla insurgencies most likely happening. We already know Hezbollah is starting to peek their heads up again. They're seeing this as a chance to kind of get back in the action. Um, and so we have the boots on the ground over there. Some kind of incident. There will be some incident happen similar to this Gulf of Tonkin shit, right? Similar to this. Similar to any kind of so. And then that's whenever the advisors turn into more. It's going to be boots on the ground from U.S. soldiers. Thank you, Uncle Jams, brother. We get into it, dude. We get it. We get down to some real shit. My guests I have on here, fucking like Hutch, Backwoods, Hillbilly. My friends Chris, Guardian Preppin, Jordan. We all get we talk about some good shit. Um, so now that I haven't smoked yet either, y'all. I ain't smoked yet, and I'm not gonna smoke yet until I get this fucking shit out of my system. So then the fighting starts going on, right? So I feel like Russia, China, like they've been very silent during all of this since this has gone down. Keep in mind, it's only been 2 days since this has been going on officially. If the U.S. gets more directly involved, if we start, ramping up more, actually, it's actually a war. We're over there freeing Iranians baddies. We over there freeing Iranian baddies. What somebody called, I saw on Facebook, somebody called them sand Latinas. That cracked me up. I repeat, sand Latinas. No, somebody said. So let me. So once we are over there, the Russia and China, they're gonna. I imagine that other Islamic countries will rise up to want to defend Islam. Turkey seems like a Turkey. We've been sleeping on Turkey. Uh, People ain't really been talking about them, but they've been becoming more. Over the past 8 years, they've been building up more and more back into a military force again. Their leader Erdogan, he's almost trying to position himself in a way to be similar to the Ottoman sultans once again. So with that going on, we got Turkey over here to the west of Iran. Turkey shares a border with Iran, right? So who knows? I don't know. Turkey's a part of NATO, but Erdogan. He's a conservative Muslim, a hardliner, from what I've researched, from what I've heard. And I feel like he wouldn't. I feel like he would. That could be a threat. That could be one of the threats that we don't expect. A Turkey coming in to aid them. But I don't know. I don't feel like they'd want any of this smoke. I don't know if they'd want any of this smoke. I'm gonna ignore all the gay fucking comments and questions for now. But you got them as a possible deterrent. How about Pakistan and Afghanistan actively at war with each other? See, they are part of NATO, but I don't know. This Erdogan, he seems like a loose cannon. He seems like a loose cannon. He seems like he would let. I don't know. Countries, they don't really. The fact that Afghanistan and Pakistan have officially declared war on each other, that's crazy. I don't think that there's officially been war declared on Iran yet. I don't think there's even been war declared on Iran officially, but they have officially declared war on each other for Pakistan and Afghanistan, because countries, I feel like they don't want to declare war necessarily on each other, because that will affect their all the trade shit that's going on in the world. But yeah, Pakistan, I guess that they're having a problem. That this goes to the hardline extremists they have in their country. Pakistan have Taliban members as well that live in their country, who are in correspondence with the Afghani Taliban, and the Pakistan government tired of all this shit, and they're lobbing back and forth at each other. Yeah. Yeah, so they see, that's where they live in, a very feudalistic, almost medieval style society. They live in a very futuristic, not future, but a very feudalistic medieval style society. Still, and that's what's fascinating about that world to me, is that their religion, and their religion in general, is that it's connected. Their religion is connected to their like culture as well. That's what makes it kind of more dangerous. Like, their religion is connected more to their cultural heritage as well. For instance, Allah, the moon, to the crescent moon, in GTA 6, and based on the research that I've done, Allah was the head deity of Muhammad's tribe at that time. Yeah, it's all very tribal. So now let's rewind, go back to whenever the soldiers. So the U.S. are no longer advising at this point in the timeline. We're actively fighting. Turkey will possibly go to defend Iran or fight them. Russia and China might start aiding with aerial shit, as we've been doing with Israel. And then all out war starts happening. No, I don't believe necessarily. I don't know if they would use the nukes per se, but keep in mind Pakistan has access to, has nuclear weapons. So could you imagine if the Taliban were to get a hold of their nuclear weapons facilities they have over there? You know, you get all kinds of possibilities. You get all kinds of possibilities from that. But this is the kicker. This is where it starts getting really schizo. Y'all ready? This is where it gets really schizo. Let me make sure I have all chat on. Why this big conventional war is going on. They're going to be in Iran. This is where it gets crazy. All right, you following? Their Project Bluebeam comes in. This is the culmination of all this crazy shit. All of a sudden, they're going to be aliens attacking. Pew 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 pew. People, fucking billions of our own people dying. But somehow, at the end of the day, the humans were going to be able to rise up together and defeat the aliens. The survivors will come together to form a new world order. What up, Richard? To form a new world order under the leadership of a supreme leader, possibly the Antichrist, with his capital being in Jerusalem. This is why Israel is very important to everything that we do and everything we talk about. Thank you, Mother Freedom, for that 100. Yeah, it's like people. It does give me goosebumps thinking about America's place in end time prophecies. Thinking about how we are involved in this. That could be. I think that would be the great lie, the great deception, is the fake alien invasion. Yeah, people, they'll believe in shit like aliens before they believe in a Christian God. People will believe any fucking bullshit they hear before they'll believe in God. They're using them direct energy weapons. I wouldn't be surprised whatsoever. I heard that we use some of those shits over in when we got Madaro, we used some of them dudes. Staying off the grid. Hello, once again. I'm a straight bearded heterosexual boy. The fuck you talking about? Exactly. That's where we go back to Turkey. Okay, so Turkey, I feel like they're going to be very important. They might be just as important as the U.S. and Israel in these end time prophecies. Because from Turkey, Afghanistan, China, Russia, that they're gonna ally. They're gonna ally with each other, and that's gonna be Gog and Magog. So we might be in the beginnings of Gog and Magog, the way that they start, and an alliance against what? Against Israel. What up, elusive? Mm. Yeah, it makes me want to paint the cabin blue. I mean, but yeah. Oof. Oof. It's kind of sick and twisted that they'd experiment that technology on their own fucking people too. How about that? How about they'd experiment with all that technology on their own people? Remember a few years back, whenever people were getting nosebleeds, people were fainting, throwing up out of nowhere on the beach. Very strange. Very, who's the but this? I'll give you guys one more. I'll give you guys one more. Yeah, we're acting like we're at war with all these people, but I guarantee that secretly, all the leadership, they're all hanging out. They all do the ritual. They're all part of the ritual, whether it be Iran, whether it be U.S. That's all part of the ritual. Um, World War One. This is a theory that I've come up with. When World War One ended, is whenever, for lack of a better term, that's whenever like World War One. That was the beginning of the end, basically, for our whole world. World War One was basically the beginning of the end for our whole world. Like, um, after that is when after World War One is whenever the extreme, just like the extreme, like the weaponization of democracy, where they before that it was always democracy, you're free, but then after World War One, I felt like they started putting more to stipulations on it, more. Our whole world became more controlled. It felt, I don't know. World War Two, we beat the bad guys, they say. But World War One, whenever I research World War One, it just doesn't seem. It doesn't seem. I don't know. They don't seem like they were evil. The guys in World War One. It seemed that seems like a whole territorial thing. Yeah, but look at the world after. Look at the world today. Look at the world today. What would have happened? Who's to say what the Kaiser was really fighting over? What they were really fighting over? Yep, Federal Reserve came into being in 1913. The World War fucking one starts in 1914. You ever know? And what's crazy about this? I've noticed from what I've read, Iran, Afghanistan, North Korea, they're not a part of that banking, the world banking system. And I don't. And Germany was not part of that world banking system back when World War One broke out. What up, KP? How the hell you doing, dude? Yes, Overwatch, 100%. No, I know that. Y'all don't be letting Silverback bully you, dude. And that was not a black eye. That was a. I'd hit myself in the head with a vape a bunch for some reason. And then one of my enemies had scratched me up. This live's about anything and everything. We're mostly trying to focus on world events right now. I'm just a person that lives on the earth, so some people might think that we don't deserve to be able to talk about events and shit, but we do. Us regular folk, us non-military people can talk about politics too. Yeah, 100. Yeah, everything that led up to World War II was a direct result of World War One. All the unfair, Germany did not start World War One. A world alliances that were made back in the 1870s and shit were helped lead up to World War One. Germany, they had to stand behind their alliance with Austria-Hungary at the time, and then there's really Serbia. Serbia should have got more punishment for that. Yugoslavia should have got more punishment. Many other places should have got punished besides um Germany. But I think the reason a lot of the war they liked the Serbian rebels. They liked the dude that was called the Black Hand, I believe, was the organization that the guy that assassinated Franz Ferdinand was from. At that time, there was a lot. McKinley was assassinated in the year 1900, so there was a lot of assassinations going on back then. There's a guy stealing my shit out. There's a guy stealing my voice, my laughter. Y'all make sure y'all call him out. Y'all make sure you let him know that his laugh has been stolen. What up, Matthew? I'm gonna have to look back into Albert Pike a little bit. I'm familiar with him. I'm familiar with him slightly, but not as much as I should be. And that's all we can do. That's all we can. We just live our lives. And this hope we plan for the worst and hope for the best. Plan for the worst and hope for the best. And that's all we can do. Like I was talking to my son, he's very young, he's 5. But whenever all this shit started happening, I felt the need. I was like, son, the world that's very weird right now, dude. I know you don't understand, but the way that things are heading now, we've got to be able to rely on each other. You've got to be able to listen whenever, I just give them the whole rundown. I even told him, I said, one day, who knows, the sky could explode like a scroll, and then Jesus and all the angels will come flooding out of it. And that's the the absolute end goal of it all, in my opinion. I'm gonna look up Albert Pike, because I've heard about this name before. I know, dude. He was slightly getting it. He was slightly starting to understand what I was trying to tell him. But this shit, because he's like, I was like, son, it's gonna be a weird day, and he was like, it's a weird day. He's like, it's a weird day, and I said, yeah, it's a weird day, son. We got all kind. I explained to my son that what I told y'all about Gulf of Tonkin. I told him everything. Yeah, it was time. I figured it was time. He's been talking real good, very knowledgeable, so I figured it was time. Don Quixote. That's what life seems like, right? Us humans, we're all running to try to slay something or to conquer some giant obstacle in our life. But the whole time it's just a fucking windmill. It's just a giant wall. We keep running into this wall over and over and over and over again until we die. And then the next people, the next generation, they get to live and have all the same problems that we did and all the bullshit we went through. Hence, Don Quixote. But not the aliens and the you don't have to redact the aliens and demon message, brother. So the aliens definitely gonna be demons, and they are, in my opinion, the same thing. The same thing. I believe that like everything we know, like forging, language, art, how to make clothes, how to do pottery, everything was taught to us in pre-flood times by Nephilim. But I believe Tartaria is another thing I kind of lean towards. It makes sense if you see all these ancient structures. Like Tartaria was the last great civilization before our current era, I believe. But before them, there was human civilization. They say the human mind has been developed the way this is now for the past million years. They say, and they say that we've only been able to have civilization the way we do for the past 12 or 13,000 years, and that doesn't add up whatsoever. So Tartaria was the last age. We're living in Retartaria, the current age. We're living in Retartaria today. There, like the original humans in the days of the Garden of Eden era, we were closer to God. We were more pure. We were less affected by things like disease and hate and jealousy. But as each generation has come and gone, and each reset has happened, humans, we've become more and more self-absorbed. We become more wicked in our ways. We've become more closer to the way that what do you want to call it? The devil force wants us to be. The ice wall. I used to believe in it. Like, kind of am still flat earther slightly, but I believe more like it's a flat dimension. The ice wall is just, it's like if you look at the cosmos, in my opinion, based on what I have, everything that I say is shit that I have researched and try to base my opinions on. They it's like a book. The cosmology of our universe is like a book. You know what I'm saying? So you open one page, you see our reality, the stories of Earth and humanity. You open the next page, you see the stories of Glark Narkin on it. But we may never know. Watch Europa the. No, I'm very much familiar with Europa the Last Battle, and I would recommend it to everybody. I would recommend it to everybody for sure. I would recommend. I cannot. Once again, watch Europa the Last Battle. It'll open up a lot of your mind to a lot of shit. Uh, but yeah, shout out to that. Yeah, see, it's like we as mortals, like it's gonna. How the fuck can we put labels on this shit? You know, how can we? You know, it's hard. It's hard to. But we slowly, even if we do find out these secrets and all this stuff, you know, we have to keep living our lives. Yeah, even everything coming out in Epstein files, any kind of information we might get, that's only the surface. See, that's a part of the ritual. We actively know that they're doing the ritual, but we're just so blind to it and refuse to believe it. They can put out movies talking about sacrifices. They put out music with satanic shit in it. They put out all this evil stuff. They hide it from us in plain sight. That's a part. The ritual wouldn't work if they didn't have it in front. They wasn't putting it in front of your fucking face every single day. You know that it's happening, but yet you cannot accept that it's happening. You refuse to see the truth in front of you because you, your parents, your grandparents, your great grandparents have been lied to from time immemorial since it started, and until it ends, we will all be lied to. Fuck, and even the people that know the truth, people like us that look for the truth, people for us that know that it's a lie, we are spit on, looked down at, made fun of. We are crazy motherfuckers. We are and it's predictive programming. You talk about predictive programming to one of these closed-minded fucking people, they will laugh in your fucking face. They'll say, "It's just a movie. It's just fucking things happen just the way they happen," and that might be true. You want to tell me that things always happen the fucking way that they happen? There's not. Come on now. That's the ritual, dude. That's the ritual. They fucking put it in your face. You know it. You accept it. You're dumb to it. Hence, we live in retartaria. The past human civilizations, they fucking tried to fight it. You know, we're jumping into it head force like a fucking diving board. You know, we're head. You know, in ancient time, the past civilizations fought again. There's evidence of them fighting against the New World Order. You know, they're in GTA 6. There's scars of their battles fighting for them, but we are diving into it. Retardaria. We live in the age of retardaria, y'all. Keep that. Remember that term. Yeah, we coined that here. It started here. Ooh, Uncle Jams. I'm gonna screenshot that. The 1% don't want the 5% to wake up the 94% masses. Yeah. Fuck no. Hell no. That's why they pit us against each other based on. That's why they created shit like religion. That's why they fucking want to point out shit like race and make created racism because they didn't want to. That's why they to be rich is great, I imagine. But they want it. They start these elites in ancient times, the ones who are responsible for all these resets, these parasitic ball worshiping, Moloch sacrificing, fucking evil bastards. Is my mic good now? They fuck. Yeah, as an Agent Smith coming in here trying to fix your phone, buddy. Ugh. See, I smoked and I started losing track of what I was saying. And I looked at that comment. So they would lie. They would want to keep us. Bring me back. Somebody bring me back. Bring me back. God damn it. Somebody kick that motherfucker out of here. His comment made me lose track what I was saying. What's that, Kane Corso? How you doing, brother? Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Seth. Yeah, but the fact that, but they built this image of wanting to reach a wealthy. They built this image of wealth as having a bunch of money, having a bunch of materialistic items. To them, the elite, to the ritual, to the to let's call them the ritualistic circle. The ritualistic circle. All right, let's call them that. To them, they will um they to them, the idea of having a bunch of materialistic shit, of having a bunch of money, of having the stuff that humans look at as valuable. You know, the Theros would bury themselves with all their riches. They bury themselves with their favorite concubines and shit like that, and their favorite pets. These elites are just like that. They, you know, they're always trying. All the elites have always wanted to try to find a way to live forever. They've always been afraid of dying. They always wanted to keep their wealth. They always, they know when they die they're going to go to hell, and they're not gonna be able to keep nothing. You got to keep them loaded, brother. But they built this image of wanting to work hard and try to become rich and have all this materialistic wealth and stuff to want us to be like them. They make it fucking unattainable, but yet they make a poor person who has, they make a middle class person look down on a poor person, and make a poor person look down even worse on another poor person who, let's say you got $10 and somebody you know has got $2. You're like, that poor bastard, I'm better than he is. And that's what these parasites have done. They put that in the zeitgeist. They put that in the zeitgeist. um yeah, but in reality, hunter-gatherer society, it's based on the law of the still. You know, it's not based on their trickery. Mm. Yeah, I'm going to work today. Oh, fuck. It's been getting kind of busy. We're about to have spring break. Thank you, Richard. Exactly. See. That's why they want. That's why they've also been pushing against the idea of a family. They've been pushing against the idea of people having kids, of people being with people like hanging out with their families and shit like that. They've been pushing against all this, because that also goes into the, because these people, they definitely don't give a fuck about their family. You know, if anything, you know, they sacrifice their own child in order to reach fame and fortune in GTA 6. Um, oof. So the ritual continues. It grinds on. It grinds on, because they know that the family. They know anything where it said family love. That is some true love. The love that you feel. The love I feel towards like this shit, or any kind of materialistic stuff. That's not love. That's not really love. You know. That's not the love I feel towards my son, or the love I feel towards my woman, or towards my mom. That is love. You know, that's a true love that can bring you closer to God. The love that a true love is something that can bring you really closer to your spirituality. And they don't like that. They don't want nothing bringing you closer to God. I'm gonna copy that up too. I'm gonna research that. Hegelian dialectic. Put on some drywall mud. Fuck yeah. Mm. But I think we had this. I was damn proud of talking with you guys. What up, Pleasurable? You coming in at the end? I probably got about 10 minutes left on this bad boy. Definitely worth the rewatch. Um, yeah, tonight, me and Jordan are gonna go live tonight. I'm not gonna give an exact the time frame for it, because I've noticed whenever I give time zones for the lives, I won't go. Like, let's say last week I said I was gonna go live at 11 on Wednesday. I never went live. So I figured if I don't talk about it, if I don't say, hey, I'm gonna go live at this time, then I will. But if I do say, hey, I'm gonna go live at 11, y'all ain't gonna see my ass at 11. Y'all ain't gonna see. What a hillbilly, brother. Shit, I might try to get me a damn super show going on tonight. Yeah, I might try to get me a super show going on tonight for show. For show. I think we're in the same time zone if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, if I'm not mistaken. Shit, if you like me, Unc Jams, you gotta fucking wait to meet my buddy Hutch. Wait till you hear Hutch talk. What up, Third Eye? Exactly. That's the love has the power to elevate you, and it can also destroy you. Hate cannot do both. Gotta have to dissect that. Here, I'm gonna have to dissect that, and that sounds like that sounds kind of like I would say, I don't know. That sounds like that sounds like some philosophy you had to deeply study to try to understand the meaning of. Fuck yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. The East Coast, the Beast Coast. You know what I'm talking about? We over here on the East Coast. We up here on the notorious B.I.G. East Coast. You know what I'm saying? The East Coast, Bad Boy Records, Diddy shit. No. Overwatch does know what's up. Is this the first time Overwatch has hung out with us? I know this is the first time Uncle James hung out with us. Yeah. We have some cool people in here for sure. It's always cool to meet new cool chat members. And all my chat, everybody in this chat, everybody who's been in here forever, they're great. They're all great, amazing people. You all get along. So it's an honor of my life to be able to sit up here and talk shit with y'all. You know what I'm talking about? It's an honor of my life to be able. It's been my dreams, my whole life is to be a broadcaster. You know, the reason I have so many moderators is so that way if my shit ever did go pew, y'all would always be top dogs. You know, and so yeah, we guys, go out and have a good day. If anything bad comes up, just know that the only thing you can really, if something affects your mood, the only way you can control it is controlling your mood. You can't stop what's making you upset, you know? But you can't stop the things that make us upset. And I find myself having to remind myself of my own advice all the time. It's easy to give some advice out. It's hard to follow your own advice, I've noticed. But yeah, that being said, get off of here. Keep your eyes peeled. I might be super late, but we on the Beast Coast, the East Coast, the best coast. Fuck the West Coast. So, we here. Peace out, y'all.